Let's kick things off by looking at how Anthropic shook up the software world, almost overnight. With just one breakthrough, they managed to flip the script on how developers and tech companies approach their work. This wasn't your typical slow and steady progress. It was a game-changing move that caught everyone off guard. Suddenly, the industry had to rethink its strategies, adapt fast, and figure out what this new wave meant for the future of software. So, what exactly happened, and why did it matter so much? Let's talk about Cowork, a plugin that's shaking things up in the world of AI tools. Thanks to its sector-specific connectors, Cowork makes it super easy to link Claude Code with all kinds of real-world applications. Instead of needing a tech background, anyone can now use Claude Code as a smart agent that handles tasks across different industries. Whether you're in finance, healthcare, or retail, these connectors help bridge the gap and make automation accessible. It's all about making powerful AI tools simple and practical for everyone. Let's break down what happens when both SaaS publishers and IT service companies face threats at the same time. Basically, investors get nervous, and that can lead to a sharp drop in the stock market value for the whole sector. It's like a domino effect. When confidence slips, everyone feels it, from big software names to tech consultants. The immediate impact? Companies might see their share prices tumble, even if their fundamentals haven't changed overnight. This kind of market reaction shows just how connected these players are and how quickly sentiment can shift in the tech world. When Cowork burst onto the scene, the market didn't just sit back and watch. Big names like Capgemini, Publicis, and Teleperformance quickly took notice. Some saw Cowork as a fresh competitor, while others viewed it as a potential partner or even a threat to their usual business models. Investors started asking tough questions about how these established players would adapt. In short, Cowork's arrival shook things up, forcing everyone to rethink their strategies and stay on their toes. Let's talk about Opus 4 and its seriously impressive context window. 1 million tokens. That's like giving an AI the memory of an elephant, so it can keep track of way more information at once. With this huge upgrade, agents can work more independently and stick with complex tasks for longer without losing the thread. It means fewer interruptions, smoother conversations, and a whole new level of endurance for AI helpers. Basically, Opus 4 is making smart assistants a lot smarter and way more reliable. Let's take a look at how OpenAI responded compared to its competitors. When OpenAI rushed to launch GPT 5.3 Codex, it wasn't just about releasing a new model, it was a move to stay ahead in the game. Meanwhile, other companies seemed to lose their spark, reacting slower and missing out on opportunities to innovate. This shift highlights how quick decisions and bold launches can make all the difference in the tech world. It's a classic case of one player setting the pace, while others struggle to keep up. Let's clear up the difference between a chatbot war and an offensive on the modern workplace. A chatbot war is all about companies racing to build smarter, faster AI assistants. Think tech giants battling it out to make the best digital helper. On the other hand, an offensive on the modern workplace means using technology to change how we work, like automating tasks or streamlining communication. So, while chatbot wars focus on who's got the coolest AI, workplace offensives are about making our jobs easier and more efficient. Two very different battles, but both are shaping the future of work in their own ways. Let's break down what Claude Code actually is and why it's such a big deal. Unlike older AI tools that just tweak what's already out there, Claude Code completely reimagines how machines understand and generate code. It's not just a faster or smarter version. It's a whole new approach that lets AI handle complex programming tasks with way more accuracy and flexibility. This leap means developers can solve problems that used to be out of reach, making Claude Code a true game changer in tech, not just another upgrade. Let's talk about the theory of absorption. Instead of just being a handy add-on to software, artificial intelligence is now taking center stage. It's actually absorbing the software itself. That means AI isn't just a tool inside your favorite apps anymore. It's becoming the backbone, running the show from behind the scenes. This shift changes how we interact with technology, making things smarter and more seamless than ever. So, rather than plugging AI into programs, we're seeing programs built entirely around AI. Let's imagine you're a CFO and your company is switching from the old license per user software model to something totally new: autonomous agents. In the traditional setup, you'd pay for each employee's access, and costs would scale up as your team grew. But with autonomous agents, you're paying for a digital worker that can handle tasks around the clock, often for a flat fee or based on performance. This shift means you're not just saving money, you're also getting more flexibility and efficiency. It's a game changer for budgeting and planning, because now, scaling operations doesn't always mean scaling costs. Let's talk about why the classic SaaS model, charging by the number of users, is starting to crack. For years, companies paid a set fee for each person using the software, but that approach isn't as flexible as businesses need today. With remote work and changing team sizes, companies want more control and less waste. Plus, some users barely touch the software, while others rely on it every day, so paying per user doesn't always make sense. As a result, many SaaS providers are rethinking their pricing, looking for models that better match real usage and value. Let's break down two big ideas that have shaped the SaaS world for the past 2 decades: the all-you-can-eat buffet model and the payroll tax. The buffet model is pretty much what it sounds like. You pay a flat fee and get access to as much software as you need, no matter how much you use. This makes budgeting easier for companies and encourages them to try out new features without worrying about extra costs. On the other hand, the payroll tax is a pricing strategy where the cost of software scales with the number of employees, so bigger teams pay more. Together, these approaches have made SaaS both flexible and scalable, helping businesses of all sizes get the tools they need without breaking the bank. Let's talk about what happens when an agent, powered by automation, takes over tasks for 10 people. Instead of each person paying for their own subscription, now there's just one agent doing all the work. So, who foots the bill? Companies might end up buying fewer subscriptions, but those subscriptions could cost more since they're handling bigger workloads. It's a shift that could change how businesses and software providers think about pricing and who actually pays for these digital helpers. Let's take a look at Salesforce as a real-world example. With its powerful automation tools, Salesforce can handle tasks that used to require a whole team of people. Think data entry, follow-ups, and even some decision-making. This shift means companies need fewer employees for those jobs, which can feel pretty threatening if your role is on the chopping block. But it's not just about cutting staff. It's about changing the way businesses operate. Automation is shaking up the workplace, and for many, it's a wake-up call to adapt or risk being left behind. Goldman Sachs recently shared some bold predictions about how economic value will be captured by different players by 2030. According to their projections, tech companies, financial institutions, and even individuals are set to play bigger roles in shaping the market. The report suggests that new technologies and changing consumer habits will shift where the money flows, making the economy more dynamic and interconnected. So, if you're wondering who's likely to benefit most from these changes, it's all about those who can adapt quickly and leverage innovation. Basically, the next few years could see some surprising winners and a whole new landscape for economic growth. Let's talk about how this shift is shaking things up for IT service companies and software integrators. Traditionally, these businesses made money by selling man days, basically charging for every day spent configuring software for clients. But as technology evolves, that model is fading fast. Automated tools and smarter platforms mean less manual setup, so the old way of billing just doesn't work anymore. It's a big change, and companies need to rethink how they deliver value and get paid. Here's a big question in today's digital world. How many software middlemen can we actually cut out if we get direct access to raw data? Think about it. Every app, platform, or service usually sits between you and the information you want. But if we can tap straight into the source, we might skip a bunch of steps, making things faster and simpler. This shift could mean less complexity, lower costs, and more control for users. It's not just about tech, it's about changing how we interact with data every day. Opus 4.6 is basically Anthropic's secret sauce for staying ahead in the AI game. By rolling out smarter, faster, and more reliable models, Anthropic turns what could have been a threat, like falling behind competitors, into a real advantage. Instead of just reacting to rivals, they're setting the pace and making their technology the standard others have to catch up to. This move not only boosts their reputation, but also helps them dominate the conversation around AI innovation. In short, Opus 4.6 shifts Anthropic from playing defense to leading the pack. Let's talk about Anthropic's launch strategy. Instead of going for a budget-friendly basic model, they decided to roll out a premium one first. Why? Well, starting with a high-end product helps them stand out and show off what their technology can really do. It also attracts early adopters who are willing to pay more for cutting-edge features. By building a reputation for quality right from the start, Anthropic sets the stage for future releases, whether those are premium or more affordable. Let's take a quick look at how the AI ecosystem has been evolving at lightning speed. New protocols are popping up all the time, making it easier for different systems to talk to each other. Partnerships between tech companies and research groups are fueling even more breakthroughs, and major integrations are bringing AI into everything from finance to healthcare. It's not just about fancy algorithms anymore. These innovations are shaping how we use AI in everyday life. The pace of change is wild, and the possibilities keep expanding. Anthropic is quickly becoming the go-to name in the world of AI. By signing deals with major companies and institutions, it's setting itself up as the default choice for businesses everywhere. Its technology is making its way onto workstations, meaning more people are using Anthropic's tools in their daily routines. This shift is shaping how organizations approach artificial intelligence, making Anthropic a key player in the modern workplace. Let's talk about why Anthropic's surge feels so unstoppable. When something grows fast and big, like Anthropic's recent wave, it creates this sense that resistance is pointless, like you're watching a tidal wave roll in. People start to believe that change is inevitable, simply because it's happening everywhere all at once. This perception isn't just about the facts, it's about how our brains react to momentum and scale. The faster and larger the movement, the more we assume it's here to stay, even if we don't fully understand what's driving it. Opus 4.6 is like locking in a winning move, making it tough for Anthropic's rivals to catch up. When a company secures such a strong position, it's not just about having the best tech, it's about shaping the whole playing field. Competitors now face an uphill battle, needing to innovate faster or rethink their strategies just to stay relevant. In economics, this kind of dominance can lead to fewer choices and higher barriers for newcomers. So, Opus 4.6 isn't just a product, it's a game changer for the entire industry. Let's break down what makes Opus 4.6 tick. First up, endurance. This version can handle long, complex tasks without losing steam, making it way more reliable for big projects. Then there's orchestration. Opus 4.6 isn't just one agent working solo. It can coordinate teams of agents, kind of like a conductor leading an orchestra, so everything runs smoothly. And finally, memory compression means it can remember more stuff without getting bogged down, so it's faster and smarter when juggling lots of information. All these upgrades make Opus 4.6 a powerhouse for tackling tough challenges. Let's talk about how native integration with Microsoft Office can make your life easier. Imagine opening PowerPoint or Word and having your tools work seamlessly together, without any extra setup or complicated steps. With automated presentation generation, you can turn raw data or ideas into polished slides in just a few clicks. This isn't just about saving time. It means your presentations look professional every single time. No more stressing over formatting or design. The tech handles it for you. Let's break down what's really going on between Anthropic and Microsoft. Instead of competing head-to-head, Anthropic is letting Microsoft tap into its AI technology, almost like a friendly parasite. But this isn't just about sharing resources. There are hidden stakes involved. Microsoft gets access to cutting-edge AI, while Anthropic benefits from Microsoft's massive infrastructure and reach. Behind the scenes, both companies are playing a strategic game that could shape the future of artificial intelligence. Here's a curious situation. Microsoft is out there promoting Copilot as its go-to AI assistant, but behind the scenes, it's actually using Claude Code for some internal tasks. It's like a chef recommending their own recipe, but secretly cooking with someone else's ingredients. This paradox raises questions about how companies choose their tools and what really goes on beyond the marketing. Maybe it's about finding the best fit for the job, or maybe it's a sign that even tech giants need a little help from the competition. Either way, it's a reminder that the world of AI is full of surprises. And not everything is as straightforward as it seems. Let's break down Microsoft's strategy here. Instead of trying to sell their own artificial intelligence directly, they focus on monetizing the infrastructure, the nuts and bolts that make AI possible. Think servers, cloud storage, and computing power. By providing the tools and platforms that everyone else needs to build and run AI, Microsoft earns money every time someone uses their services, whether it's a startup or a big tech company. It's like owning the roads instead of the cars. No matter who's driving, you're still getting paid. Here's a heads up for everyone. The real game changer isn't just about how slick the interface looks. What truly matters is your ability to steer and manage the agents behind the scenes. Think of it like driving a car. It's not just about the dashboard, but how well you handle the controls. So, if you want to make the most of these new tools, focus on mastering agent management. That's where the real revolution happens. Let's look at a real-world example. Imagine a senior analyst who starts using AI tools to crunch numbers and generate reports faster than ever. Their productivity shoots up. They can focus on big-picture strategy instead of tedious tasks. But here's the catch. The junior analyst who used to learn by doing those same tasks suddenly has less hands-on experience. While the senior gets more efficient, the junior misses out on valuable training, making it harder for them to build skills and climb the ladder. Let's take a quick trip back in time to the world of artisan guilds. These were groups of skilled workers who banded together to protect their craft and share knowledge. Instead of formal schools, most learning happened right on the job. Apprentices would work alongside masters, picking up tricks of the trade through hands-on experience. This system made sure valuable skills were passed down from generation to generation. It was all about learning by doing, and it shaped how trades developed for centuries. Think about a modern company for a second. Juniors, or new hires, aren't just there to fill seats. They're learning the ropes, picking up intuition and professional judgment as they go. It's kind of like training your brain to spot patterns and make smart calls, not just following a checklist. Over time, these juniors start to see the bigger picture, connecting dots that aren't obvious at first. That's how they grow from newbies into pros, ready to tackle real-world challenges with confidence. Let's talk about something called learning debt. It's not about money, but rather the skills and leadership abilities we miss out on over time. Imagine skipping a few steps in your training or not keeping up with new trends. Those gaps add up, even if you don't notice them right away. This invisible loss can quietly hold back your growth, making it harder to lead or adapt down the road. So, learning debt is all about what you don't know catching up with you later. Right off the bat, we're not seeing huge waves of layoffs. That's the good news. But here's the catch. Companies are hitting pause on hiring new junior staff. So, while nobody's getting fired en masse, the next generation of workers might have a tougher time finding their first job. This freeze could make it harder for fresh talent to step in and keep things moving down the line. Let's talk about the so-called missing middle, that awkward gap between super-skilled AI and older workers who are feeling burnt out. Basically, there's a risk that we end up with a generation of employees who don't quite fit in. They're not tech wizards like the AI, but they're not ready to retire either. This could mean fewer opportunities for people in the middle, making it harder to climb the career ladder or even keep up with workplace changes. It's a challenge that's popping up in more and more industries as technology speeds ahead. Let's talk about the difference between learning debt and technical debt. Technical debt is like skipping steps in coding or building systems. It can usually be fixed with some updates or rewrites. But learning debt is trickier. It's the gap in your understanding or skills, and you can't just patch it up with a quick fix. Catching up means investing real time and effort to relearn concepts, which can be way harder than fixing a bug in software. That's why learning debt sticks around longer and is tougher to pay off. Here's the second trap. The real cost of AI right now is actually being covered by venture capital. That means a lot of these fancy tools seem free or super cheap, but it's only because investors are footing the bill behind the scenes. This creates an illusion that AI is accessible to everyone at no cost, when in reality, someone is paying for it. Eventually, those investors will want a return, and prices could rise or business models might change. So, the free ride might not last forever. Let's talk about dumping and why it matters when it comes to AI. Dumping is basically when a company sells its product at a super low price, sometimes even below cost, just to grab market share. With AI, this can mean cheap or free services that everyone starts relying on. But here's the catch. Once we're hooked, those prices can shoot up, leaving us dependent and facing much higher costs. It's like getting used to free coffee, only to find out later you have to pay triple for your daily cup. Imagine a future where hiring experienced agents gets so expensive that companies can't afford to bring in any juniors. Sounds tricky, right? Without fresh talent, teams lose their ability to train new staff and pass on knowledge. At the same time, relying only on pricey experts means budgets get stretched thin, making operations less flexible. This double trap leaves businesses stuck, unable to grow their teams or adapt to new challenges easily. Let's talk about short-term thinking in business. When companies cut costs by hiring fewer junior employees, it might look smart on paper right now. But in reality, they're basically betting against their own future. Juniors are the fresh talent who learn, grow, and eventually drive innovation. Skipping out on them today means missing out on tomorrow's leaders, and that's a risky move for any organization. So, why should we care about second-order effects and strategic consequences when it comes to the widespread adoption of AI? Well, it's not just about what AI does right now, but about the ripple effects it creates across society and the economy. For example, AI might automate certain jobs, but that can also change the way businesses operate, shift demand for new skills, and even influence how governments make policy decisions. Understanding these knock-on impacts helps us prepare for surprises and make smarter choices, whether we're running a company or just trying to keep up with the news. It's all about seeing the bigger picture, not just the immediate changes. Let's face it, artificial intelligence is moving fast, and sometimes it feels like the market is calling all the shots. But here's the thing, if we want to stay ahead, we need to take back some control. Instead of just reacting to whatever changes come our way, why not start anticipating them? That way, we're not just passengers on this ride, we're actually steering. It's about making smart choices now, so we're ready for whatever the future throws at us. Let's zoom in on a big shift in how we work with machines. Instead of relying on a single linear model, where one person interacts with one system, we're moving towards teams of specialized agents, all coordinated by artificial intelligence. Think of it like having a group of experts, each handling a specific task, but the AI acts as the conductor, making sure everyone works together smoothly. This approach can make problem-solving faster and more flexible, since each agent brings its own strengths to the table. It's a game changer for efficiency and creativity in both business and tech. Imagine a team tasked with launching a new product. Instead of everyone doing the same thing, each agent has a unique role. One handles market research, another manages design, someone else takes care of logistics, and another focuses on marketing. They don't work in silos. Communication and coordination are key. By dividing the big goal into smaller specialized tasks, the team can tackle challenges efficiently and make sure nothing falls through the cracks. It's like assembling a puzzle, where every piece matters and fits together to create the final picture. On paper, autonomous agents sound like a productivity dream. Imagine teams that handle tasks on their own, no micromanaging needed. But here's the catch. When you let go of the reins, you might also lose that gut feeling of control over what's actually happening. Suddenly, you're not sure if everyone's pulling in the same direction or if things are slipping through the cracks. It's a classic trade-off. More efficiency, but potentially less oversight. So, while the promise is tempting, the reality can feel a bit like a governance nightmare. Let's start with the first side of the so-called black box. The way agents operate often goes way beyond what any human can keep track of. Imagine thousands of tiny decisions happening every second, all at lightning speed. No single person can watch or understand every move these agents make in real time. This creates a gap between what's actually happening and what we can supervise, making it tricky to spot mistakes or unexpected outcomes as they unfold. Here's the second side of the story. With a massive context window, AI can gobble up entire folders of information at once. That means it can handle way more data, making research or analysis a breeze. But there's a catch. Managing all that information gets tricky. It's like having a giant library at your fingertips, but figuring out who's in charge and how to organize everything becomes a real headache. So, while the possibilities are huge, the challenge of governance grows right alongside them.